The lady from Texas is recognized for 5 minutes in support of her amendment.
I thank you very much. And my good friend from Texas apparently did not understand the prior amendment in terms of its utilization in the time of disasters that his district faces, as mine does all the time, and many other Americans. So let me indicate as I move to number 36, this is, again, an effort to help Americans and to address the question of the efficiency of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. My amendment would allow the necessary and routine test drawdowns that occur as part of the work to make sure the reserve can fulfill its function of providing access to the resources on a moment's notice in time of emergencies. Those of us in various parts of the nation understand emergencies, in keeping with our commitment to addressing the core mission of many of us to reduce emissions. We may need a number of tests. Tests are basic to the core mission of the reserve and often involve numbers of barrels or less being drawn down. The Jackson Lee Amendment would provide the provisions of this bill should not be triggered by Strategic Petroleum Reserve tests. The Jackson Lee Amendment would ensure that tests can continue without delay or suspension out of concern regarding the requirements of the bill, so that this Strategic Petroleum Reserve can stand ready to be able to efficiently address what is needed. I'm concerned about the direct attack because the CEO, the President of the United States, and the executive rather, utilizes his powers to help Americans in the midst of a disaster. I hope that this amendment can be accepted by my friends, which says that we have to do diligence on testing. I understand the authors of the bill have a specific policy objective in mind, believe that the bill will accomplish a narrow policy change. However, I would hope that they believe in efficiency, and the utilization of this Strategic Petroleum Reserve in an efficient manner requires tests and drawdowns. And if we're going to be ready for emergencies to save lives in a crisis that is either heating or otherwise, again, let me remind my colleagues that we did not hear a word, a Republican word or a Democratic word, when gasoline prices came down. So the executive, the Article 2 executive should have the right, if you will, to make those emergency decisions. But to have the ability to test is a reasonable response to ensuring that the Strategic Petroleum Reserve works well every single day that we need to use it. I ask my colleagues to support Jackson Lee Amendment number 36. And I also finish by saying, please understand what we're saying. Please know that we understand both the legislation and the need for improvement of the legislation. I ask my colleagues to support Amendment number 36, Jackson, and I yield back.